Hello, Radiant One, and welcome to Spiritual Business with Maria Serafina, the show and podcast for soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs, business owners, and Magdalene's rising, ready to expand and wanting to lead with love in business and life. I am your host, spiritual business coach, mentor, catalyst, and facilitator, Maria Serafina, and it is my deep honor, my great pleasure, and joy to share this episode with you. If you feel the deep stirrings of something new asking to be born through you, go to mariaserafina.com/DCIA to download the free guide, Divine Clarity and Inspired Action, that I've created for you. Divine Clarity and Inspired Action will help you to connect with your divine feminine essence of gnosis, wisdom, knowledge, and intuition, as well as activate your divine masculine essence of action, creation, expansion, and building, so that you may experience the satisfaction and liberation that comes from bringing to life that which you're here to birth while being, doing, and living your soul's divine purpose. On my website, you will also find show notes, transcripts, and previous episodes. Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome into today's episode. Once again, we are going to be diving into something that is near and dear to my heart. It is part of the reason why I am who I am and why I do what I do. And it's about making sure that you take action on what is stirring within your heart, within your soul, what you are called to do, what you came here to do. Because for me, I see so many soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs who've gone through the transformation, through their awakening. They get very caught up in their divine feminine essence of gnosis, of wisdom, of knowledge, but don't ever really, or many at least, struggle in the beginning with activating their divine masculine essence of action, of foundation, of building, of expansion, of creation. And I've said this, if you've listened to the episode, I've said this before. To me, that's because of the way that we have viewed how, the old way of doing, the old paradigm, the old way of doing, of pushing, of forcing, of coercing, all of the trades of what I call the shadow masculine. We're not wanting to do from that space. We're not wanting to your fear-based tactics in our marketing, or and so, because that is something that sits so awful or not well with us, we can get caught up in not doing it all for a very long time until we find our way. And for me, like I said, part of my mission in this lifetime is to support the activation, the ignition of your divine masculine, and to support you in creating what I call the sacred marriage of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, so that you and your business become that holy grail, that sacred container, that through which your offerings, your services, your gnosis, your wisdom, your through you that flows. And so today I want to talk to you about why it's one of the things that I see it over again in my sessions, and that is whether you are someone who's just starting out and is about to offer your first course or program or service, or whether you're someone who's been in business for a long while but maybe have not been in business in this way where it's fully aligned with who you are. Maybe you've been used to having an offline business, doing work for your clients, but you've never put a program or a course or something like that into the world. And so, and I see this tripping up people, so I thought I would bring it to you as well. So hopefully you can be inspired or empowered by it, and and bring forth that which you're here to birth, as I like to say. And it is why the my working title for this episode is why detailing your course or your program to the tiniest detail is a bad idea. And often also I see it as a way that ego, or fear within you actually sets up a barrier, or a way for you to quote unquote self-sabotage, and a way for your perfectionism to just run amok and get away with you. And when I say program or course, it can be it can be a membership club, or it can be a webinar series, or it can be many, many different ways. I'm hoping that you will listen to the frequency and the vibration of what is underneath, and not be caught up in, oh, I don't have a program, or I don't have a membership club, or I don't have a workshop series. But I want you to listen with an open mind and an open heart, and see where this may be potentially coming up for you. Because I get the sense that it's, even though for me it's about program, courses, and all that, I get the sense that there's a deeper message as well that I don't necessarily know of in this very moment. So again, my invitation for you is to allow yourself to listen with an open mind and an open heart. So to give you two examples. So I have a client who's, most of my clients, what they do is that they come into my community and my space and one-on-one services when they are ready for their next expansion, their next level of growth, their next, I don't want to say upgrade, because I don't necessarily upgrade, but the next up-leveling of themselves and their businesses. That's when they come into my space, and I support them with that through the expansion of their services, their offerings, the strategy, the marketing, and all that, through the coaching that I do with them. And I had a client, and I still have a client, who was wanting to bring forth, she's a graphic designer, an amazing graphic designer, and she is wanting to bring her skills and her services to more people, because when you sit with your graphic design, you can work one-on-one with people, and she wanted to bring that into a structure or format that's resembled a membership club. So she wanted to outline and give them a membership club, and which was a brilliant idea. I loved it, and we kind of structured it up, we got it set up, and then it was for her to kind of fill it. Now, one of the things that I've found with soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs is that very often we also have a perfectionist gene. Like, there is just something within us, and I don't know if it's because of past lives or experiences, or whether it is because we have been persecuted for our craft in the past, that we have this need for things to be perfect, and not to be not to give someone an opportunity to put a finger on it. But at the same time, that drags us down, because we can get so lost in the details, so lost in the always tweaking, getting it to better, that it becomes an endless spiral that is not uplifting, but is actually doing you a disservice of pulling you down. So she had outlined, and an anecdote I want to say is that most of the time, one of the things that I hear from my clients is that, oh, but can I really do, do I have enough content, or can I do this? Can I do an 8-week course, or a 12-week program, whatever, a monthly membership? And I almost always laugh my ass off, very lovingly and very caringly, because I know that you can, and I'm speaking to you as well, you can easily pull out 12 topics that are near and dear to your heart and start teaching those. And that is whether, that's whether it's a program or a service, that's whether it's a newsletter or a series of blog posts, whether it is social media, whether it's whatever you have within you, 8, 10, 12, and a million more. And because once you open up to that source, more will come. I often find that when I record these spiritual business episodes, going in, I'll have an idea about 2 to 3, but as I sit here and start recording, more and more and more just comes through, because once you start opening up, you become the recipient of all that wisdom and knowledge and gnosis and information that is ready to be born through you. So like I said, I very often laugh my ass off when my clients say, "What do you don't know what to," like, is that really true? And luckily and hopefully, like, not even hopefully, but they always laugh at the end as well, because they're like, "Oops, I think you're right." However, like I said, I had this. She was, and she did the outline for her membership club for those 12 months. What was going to go in it, and what was going to be the outline of it, and then, which is a great idea. And we moved into the marketing and the promotion of it, and how we were going to do that, and how she was going to do that, and all that. And then what happened was, she then decided, and I'm pretty sure this happened without me, she then decided that, oh, by the way, she needed to have all of the content, all of the files, all the worksheets, all the guides, all the blah, 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 ready for all 12 months. And this was a decision that she made without me between sessions. And she came to a session and was deeply stressed, deeply upset, frustrated, and all that. And I was like, "What happened?" And then she told me. I'm like, "Why on earth would you do that?" I don't ask why, but it was like, "What happened?" And she, and we had, I coached her on it. I mentored her on, and we had a chat about it. And she did realize that that was actually a part of her self-sabotage, because by way of setting the barrier or the parameter so high, she was nearly having to, quote unquote, kill herself to get that done, which is not what we want to do when we're soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs. We do things from a space of love. We do them with ease and in flow. Not to say that they're not challenges, not to say that there's not going to be fears or limiting beliefs or self-sabotage you have to move through, dissolving fear through the expansion of love. That's what we're here to do. But we don't push, we don't force, we don't coerce, we don't ignore, we don't suppress. And this is a key and crucial piece that I want you to remember, is that right now you don't know what you don't know. Meaning, once you start that thing, you have no idea what feedback you're going to get, what insights you're going to gain, what lessons you're going to learn throughout. And if you detail everything and if you record everything, then you will either have to re-record, you will have to tweak it underway, or you maybe want to, quote unquote, throw it out. Now that's not to say, I'm not one of those people who say, like, just stick a headline up and then see if if someone buys it, then you can create the course. That's not what I ascribe to. What I am saying is that I do want you to outline it. I do want you to specify it. I do want you to describe. I do want you to promote. I do want you to sell it. I do want you to deliver it. And then I want you to adjust, to tweak, to improve, and to expand from that space. But I also want you to give yourself space to do that. If you have already spent day and night pushing, forcing, coercing yourself to delivering and having everything ready so it's good to go, there's no room for that. And that maybe not, I mean, this is probably meant for, quote unquote, the first time you deliver it. But I also hope that you will take this approach the second time or the third time that you approach or deliver it. Because you can, when you come from that space of being willing to surrender into the unknown, then you can actually receive the messages. You can hear. You can do those tweaks. To give you another example, I had a client, or have a client, who was going to do a workshop series, and the participants are going to get have a manual. She was going to give them a manual, and this is the first time that she's done it in this form. She's worked one-on-one with clients for many years, but this was the first time she was doing it in a group setting, and again, this perfectionism came up. Oh, I'm going to give them the full manual. And I'm also saying, so there's a difference, of course, between a membership club where they're every month being given the different topics or classes and all that. And then, of course, a workshop series. But she was going to deliver them the full manual. So, and if you're someone who is moving into that space of teaching groups, or then giving them their manual first up might not necessarily be the best idea, because our brains, like, some of us will want to jump, someone like me will want to jump through everything, and our minds will be blown by all the content that we won't even stay in the space of what was, the first lesson. So it's better to give them, and that's the suggestion I gave her, was give them the folder, give them the binder for these things, then give them module 1, have everything in that, and then tweak it, because everything that you learn through module 1 you can then tweak into module 2. You can add, if there's something that you can see that now needs to be taken out or added, you can then do that, and you can tweak it, and you will have the feedback from the students as well. And I mean, I can't believe, like, the amount of times this amazing client had come back to me and said, "Oh my God, that was such a good suggestion," is I can't count them on my hands or my toes, because this has been an expanding, moving forward journey. Again, she's not sold them something that she's not delivering. She's delivering what she's sold them. However, she's allowing herself to open herself up to pulling the strings, because she has so many strings that she's able to play, and to mold it into what is it that this group of client needs. And I'm pretty sure that by the time she's through these, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks, she will then have a completely different content, but she'll have a different output than she would have had she delivered from the beginning, and had it been set in stone and rigid and not. Sure, she could have given them extra updates, but allowing yourself to be in that space of creation throughout, to mold around, to surrender. I remember I did this with my very first thing that I programmed, my Heart and Soul Business Mastery, that I delivered. That was the first thing I did. I recorded the content throughout the weeks, and then, yes, that then stayed the same for a few more, but it was only through the surrender and the allowing myself to be open to whatever could be pulled through that it became the amazing course that it became. Of course, in cooperation with the amazing people that was in that program. So like I said, right now you don't know what you don't know, and to me, and it's way more important that you allow it to be born through you than for it to be perfect. I can guarantee you that because I'm not going to say, because it's also, to me, it's been I see how it's been an expanding journey that yes, now it is perfect. Most of the things that I deliver, quote unquote, are perfect in the moment that I deliver them. That does not necessarily mean that they cannot be expanded, tweaked, upgraded, adjusted, improved at all. But when you allow for yourself to deliver, quote unquote, perfection in that moment, you also allow yourself to receive the infinite love that you are, and you connect yourself with that which you are. And there is such a deep satisfaction, a deep joy in that. And rather than get caught up in all the details of, because right now you don't know what you don't know. So I'm hoping with this episode to have inspired you to and to apply this to everything, whether it be whatever it is that you are starting, whatever it is that you've got, if it's a website, if it's a newsletter, a podcast, show, whether it is writing for someone else, whatever it is, allow yourself to be in that space of surrender and possibility and quote unquote perfection, and know that as you grow and as you expand, so too will your experience, your wisdom, and your knowledge, and you can then twist, tweak, improve. I hope that this has served you. I would love to hear from you. In the description, you'll find a link to the show notes. I would love to hear what has been your biggest revelation, either about the way that you've done things or the way that you are now going to do things. That is what I have for you today. I love you. Take care. That is what I have for you in today's episode of Spiritual Business with Maria Serafina. I hope it served you well. For all the deeds and details, click the link in the description, and if you enjoy this episode, support its message by sharing it with a friend or on social media. You can also choose to leave me a comment or a review. I love you. God bless.